Something has to be wrong with Marvel. Spider-Man has changed completely in recent years, like 180-degree change, and I'm not saying for something unwatchable or absolute trash, but only similarity I could think of between Tobey Spidey and Tom Spidey is their name. What we usually see in other series is that some movies are good enough to make successor, and their successor is usually just the worst version of the first one, and if they were popular enough to make the third part, most of the times they are the weakest ones, the ones that we don't have memories for, the ones that we hate. Well, in 2011, it almost looked like we will get even the fourth Tobey Spider-Man. My point is, all Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans have kind of different story, and sometimes I almost forgot that they are from the Marvel universum. If you're saying to yourself the same thing, it's not coincidence. If you read comic books of Spidey, you start to realize that it has been lied to you many times. But even after all of these controversies, and I'm sure that Sam Raimi listened to a lot of complaints back in the day, I will tell you why the original Spider-Man is still, without a doubt, the best in my opinion. Okay, except the weaker third one. So take a seat, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and we will start this epic journey. Let's go. And let's start with something spicy, and I will get a lot of heat for this one, but it's about the Peter Parker himself. The inner fight that Peter have all the time through all three films is probably the highlight. Endless questions about justice and morality and what should Spider-Man do to protect his loving ones for the price of his own constant pain of secrets. You can see that all the time. It's not splashing you that information to the face, but by a well-made acting of Tobey, you can see that inner conflict. That thing when he's still in pain and you just wishing him to be alright, it's character that truly gets your heart. I'm not saying other Spider-Mans don't have the same problems, and I think all three actors played well and played what they should. I'm not criticizing the acting itself, I'm criticizing the directors and scriptwriters. Even the bullies in school were not overdone in some crazy I hate you just because you exist way, but it's giving you sense of a hard life for Peter. He's introverted, not standing in someone's place, he just simply wants to live his own life and don't care about others. This is already a lot of different than any other Marvel film I saw, and you could say that I haven't watched enough Marvel movies, and that could be true because there's too many of them. The way Peter is introduced is natural, letting you as a viewer to get your personal opinion on this guy, even though I'm not saying that Tom Holland is not a good character, but he's simply someone else in completely different story and situation. And also the fact he's acting in modern Marvel movies, so there's not anything natural or normal about Peter. Yeah, he's a nerd because he wants to build a Death Star, which is cool. I love Lego, but it's kind of giving me that sense that his character is built for younger audience because there's not many adults left watching the most of the Marvel movies, let's be honest. But let's take a step back to Amazing Spider-Man. You already thought I would skip this one, huh? I personally love Andrew Garfield's character, even he doesn't have anything in common with Tobey, but he feels like he's stuck in this transitional period between the other two where technology is taking a place, so he's much more similar to comic Spidey, which is for many people cool, and I respect that. But I feel like Sam Raimi created more likable character with Tobey, maybe not more interesting and complex, but more respectful and more movie-like, with proper morality, which is fighting the whole series, with that sense of humanity. And that's weird because Stan Lee, as a godfather for the whole Marvel, did supervise all three original movies, so I guess he was okay making quite some important tweaks for that series. Of course he wasn't director or he didn't have that power for making differences, but I can't imagine that someone would spit on Stan Lee's face and said that yeah, your version was worse, we're gonna do it properly. But they did. Maybe it lacks more drama for some people, but it's definitely working the best for a movie. Now we should talk about MJ. And again, we're gonna ignore the fact it's different to the comics one. The only accurate is the Amazing Spidey. We're gonna compare MJs, and I will include Stacy Gwen from Amazing Spidey so we can have a fair comparison. The fight between Zendaya and Kirsten Dunst is not even a debate. Zendaya is just, oh look at me, I'm weirdy, nerdy character like Spider-Man. No one's gonna convince me on this one, that's a fact. Don't even try it. If you think that Zendaya is better, please don't talk to me. But it's true that it's more fitting character to Tom, I will get you that. But original MJ is it's fitting the character that Peter is desperate about. She's not nerdy or somehow, she's not super smart, she simply has that female charm that my monkey brain is not able to describe. I cannot imagine making her lines better. her facial expression, and just overall her acting better. Not even speaking about looks, I mean, no, you will not convince me on that one, okay? But I probably have to give a winner award for the Amazing Spider-Man, Gwen Stacy. Maybe she's not that pretty as Kirsten Dunst, and really depends on what type you are, but that's not important. Emma Stone is pretty much everything I've said about original MJ, but with a touch of that intelligent girl that can take over herself, you know what I'm saying? She's just more complex character, and I'm giving credit to her because she deserves it. What about other characters? Well, I have to skip Tom Holland's Spider-Man again, because there's just a bunch of teenagers that doing teenage things without a deeper thought or proper meaning. The Amazing Spider-Man just have more gloomy, more depressing atmosphere, and that includes characters. But again, they feel more complex, more thoughtful, but I wouldn't say more realistic, like maybe sometimes they're too dark and less happy, and it makes them unnecessarily monochromatic, if that's a word. So the winner is again original Spider-Man in this one. Even most of the characters are not that complex, but they feel more straight-minded and they fit in its environment better. You know, I would really love to give a winner for the Amazing Spider-Man on this one, but when I see a Marvel film, I don't want it to be more dark than it have to. So that fluently leads me to another winner for Tobey Spidey film, the atmosphere itself. This topic was basically answered because new Spider-Man is very clearly aimed to a younger audience, just for a bunch of kids, and it's a superhero movie, I'm not denying that. It should have that childish charm, just a little, so you're reminded that you're watching Marvel movie, which I'm absolutely okay with. But Tobey Spider-Man is clearly showing a well-aging and technically already existing classic, and I'm gonna tell you a little story, okay? When I was 7, my dad bought a Spider-Man 2 on DVD, and I swear that I was watching that one film for 10 days straight. And not like dividing the same movie for 10 days, but like watching Spider-Man 2 10 times in 10 days. I was fascinated from the beginning, and it still keeps me after that time. And without any pink glasses, I can assure you that if I would have watched the Spider-Man 2 yesterday for the first time, I would say the same thing. Without any nostalgia, the soundtrack, characters, especially MJ, the whole atmosphere of beautiful New York always gets me with open mouth. Andrew Garfield, perfect guy and everything, but the whole set of Amazing Spider-Man just don't have that magic, that atmosphere, that's something you cannot measure. You have to feel it by yourself. That nice classy movie feel that most of the modern films simply not have, and I'm 100% convinced that it's not nostalgia what makes them feel like that. And Tom Holland, same thing for me. I could easily imagine switching Tobey and Tom in this universum and the result would be similar. Okay, and what about Spider-Man No Way Home? I didn't want it to include it here. It doesn't have anything in common with things before. It was a kind of sticking different things together for marketing reasons, and it's got honorable mention. They tried it, but no, I will not include it here. The last thing I have noticed here is the suit. I personally think that original Spider-Man suit is the best one, but I'm gonna leave this one on you guys. What do you think? Let me down in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a nice day. Bye.